Todd Boehly's name seems to pop up all over the shop at the moment. That's his business, him and his investors.
Or maybe not sometimes it's his business. Maybe sometimes it's fake news, but because they've been putting themselves out there, the name is
I just think here we have a group of people who really don't know anything about this sport or a lot. They know about other sports and business, fair enough. They have plenty of money behind them. But they've came in. Chelsea needs a rebuild from you know, they've changed the manager. Buck, Granite Sky, check. There's people behind, there's roles behind the scenes that need to be filled. There's a bunch of players that have been signed, clearly by a manager who's been sacked and now been replaced by another manager who probably wouldn't have gone after those players. That doesn't tell me that somebody needs to be going worrying about all this other guff around the world. You know, All-Star games and blah, blah, blah. That tells me somebody needs to get their finger on the pulse at their own club, first and foremost. You know, we don't know how Graham Potter's going to do at this club. But we do know these players that most of them were brought in, most of them were players that Thomas Tuchel wanted, because nobody else was there to make a decision. And if Thomas Tuchel wasn't making those decisions, it was being made by these people behind the scenes, which is even more worrying. But it just seems to me at the moment, bearing in mind there is a big gulf between Chelsea and Man City and Liverpool, particularly City. Obviously, Liverpool not this year at the moment. But there is this big gulf domestically. This ownership really needs to worry about in-house stuff before it starts worrying about everything else on the periphery. That, to me, because they've already made baffling decisions on a football front. If you're going to sack Thomas Tuchel, fine, do it. If it's common sense, do it in the summer. If it's not, let them bring the players in and give them time. So none of this is kind of making sense. It's a little bit worrying from a club perspective. If I was a supporter of Chelsea and I'm looking about how we can be in Champions League finals again and how we can be one of, you know, dominating in England along with City and all that, and I'm looking at my ownership out there running around talking about all these other outside influences that the Chelsea fans really have, and we're talking about Chelsea, we're talking about Burley, they have no care about. All they care about, what can you do for our club? You've bought it from Abramovich. Whether we agree or not, he was successful the way I went about it. No matter if you agree about the hiring and firing. What can you do for us? And what he can do is not run about coming up with these willy-nilly ideas when, quite frankly, he needs to get his own ship in order.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.